This is part 2. And anyway, the main things you want from God, but you're not doing it God's way, and God's not letting nothing happen. He make above you is like iron and your feet are brass. God's not letting anything happen. You say, Lord, ain't nothing coming on. God put your life on hold for a reason. Because you have not heeded the call. How long are you going to just not heed the call of God? Your life's not working out for a reason. That's God. Yes, God's loving and kind, but he's still going to get his will through and done. So that's why you discomforted, because God's trying to get through to you to come on the Lord's side. How many times God got to tell you? How many people got to walk past you and tell you, the Lord told me to tell you this? You mean people in the street, in the grocery store, in the mall, for prophesying to you. They don't even know you. The Lord told me you need to heed the call. You done heard it 14, 15 times. When you going to take hold of it? Get on knees and pray and say, Lord, okay, I hear you. Now what should I do? When you're called, you're chosen. When you're called, heed the call. That's why your life, God put your whole life on hold. It's like you're trying to cross the street and you can't make it, but you've been trying for 5 years. It's like, it seems to be so easy, but you just ain't getting it. It's like, man, somebody should be able to get this done. It's like something that's easy to accomplish, but God makes it super hard for you. It's like, man, it's taking me 10 years to go across the street, because that's God. I mean, I'm just saying, not technically, but I'm saying there are things that you see and God still has them out of your reach, and you're like, man, I don't understand it, because that's God. He put your life on hold to get your attention, because he's calling you and you're not heeding the call. Heed the call. Now, another subject that's on my mind. Preachers, y'all got to do better. And I mean this in the sense that your clothing is unacceptable to God. That's right. Because there's a thing called holy garments, okay? The ministry is a priesthood. And God always used imperfect people in extraordinary ways. So God used whoever he wanted to use. So, but our point is that the clothing is all wrong. How dare you come up in the pulpit, which is a sanctified place. Mr. Mayor, you can't sit in the pulpit. Congress and Senate man, you can't sit in the pulpit. It's a holy place for preachers only. Mr. President, you can't sit in the pulpit. Vice President, you can't sit in the pulpit. If you ain't a preacher, you can't even say nothing. And if you say something, you say it from the pulpit. I mean, you say it from the audience. We'll give you the mic, but you ain't got no business being up there neither. It's a place, a holy place for preachers. There ain't no business up there. You ain't sanctified, what you doing up there? You have no business being in a holy place like that. You talk from the steps. It's a calling that God put in place. So the thing is that, go back to the clothing. Your clothing is wrong. God's not changed. There's things called a holy vesture. And that meant holy clothing. A preacher look apart. You should look like a preacher. There should be a distinction. There should be a distinction between clean and unclean. He serve God, that doesn't serve God. So there should be a distinction. You're setting the example. You looking all crazy and you go, no, God ain't never told you to do that. You're alive from the pits of hell. God never told you to do that. And yes, God's concerned about that. Yeah, you can come how you are, sure, into the church. Absolutely. But when you're up before people, you need to look decent and look clean. Because you're representing God. You can't be looking like the world up there. Got on some jeans and tight jeans and torn pants, hair sticking all over the place. Wearing some designer jacket looking all crazy. That's out of whack. That's terrible. You got gym shoes on all up in the pulpit. That's just because you're trying to keep people. Let me tell you something. If you would got the word of God, you'll keep the people. When you see that type of behavior, they trying to be all modernized, looking all like the world, wearing headbands and motorcycle jackets all up in the pulpit and all that foolishness, that's because they're performing. Because if you had the word of God in the right way, you'll keep them. And all them stunts people doing is not what God's called for. That's when you ain't got nothing to work with. You start doing all that antics and all that foolishness. Because you can't keep them because you ain't got no word, so you keep them through all that buffoonery and foolishness. You got everybody in church dressing all crazy because you set an example of it. Because you at fault. You cut that mess out. God never told you to do that. You got no dream, no vision. No, God never told you to do that. You get back, you look like a preacher, and you preach from the word of God. You don't need those addicts when you're preaching the word. When you're preaching the word of God in a proper context, you don't need no annex. You don't put on no show. There's some preacher coming down from the ceiling on a rope. I was praying, God, please let that rope snap. Please let him fall on his behind. Coming down, all that keep coming down onto the stage. That's buffoonery. That's foolishness. That's because they ain't got no word, no message. If the message and the word of God don't keep you, the foolishness won't do it either. So anyway, with that, I'm going to go, and God bless y'all. See you next time. Bye.